Okay, so this is the collective, collaborative, close reading of Leaves of Grass, Canto 47. Alrighty. So, what is like the big picture of this whole poem? Kind of, Nick, what are your ideas of this?
Let's see. I got like, I don't know. I got a lot of like he's looking on the past and he's looking at like things that have changed him. Like, I don't know. It says like the boy I love the same becomes a man, not through derived power, but in his own right. Wicked rather than virtuous, out of conformity or fear. So it's like
sort of like a progress.
Yeah, it's just like the boy becomes a man, and yeah.
So it's like kind of going through adolescence.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's like the main word.
Cool. Yeah, like he says at the beginning, I am a teacher of athletes, so it's kind of like he's coaching people through adolescence. He's like a coach.
Yeah, yeah.
Athletes, I guess.
I personally took it more as like a parent who, because he talks about how the boy I love, so it could be like a child, and then the teacher, your parents are your teachers, and a lot of parents want your kids to suppress them, and on the third line it says, he must honor my style who learns under it to destroy the teacher. And then it talks about how he likes more of the hard-working people, somebody who's more of a tough man, I guess you could say, and that's what he kind of wants for this boy.
Is it like a literal boy, or like is it who is he?
Like in general, like a
Just like-
child.
Just whoever he's teaching, whoever's reading this.
Yeah.
And like you said in the third line, he most honors my style who learns under it to destroy the teacher. So it's like apprenticeship, and then the apprentice destroys his master. Like, and apparently that honors the master. It kind of sounds like the Sith pattern from Star Wars, because apprentice destroys master. I don't know. That was kind of random, but it's in the third line on the previous page.
That kind of goes with him thinking that, well, I've taught this kid so well that he's even passed me. So that's how it honors himself.
Yeah, so maybe it's not like a actual like destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like take his own pride out of it and like teach the person under him how he wants them to be.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that, and like he just wants him to know so much that he starts to like learn on his own without needing his guidance as much, and just become the strongest person possible.
Mm-hmm. You underlined that. Why did you underline that?
I underlined my words itch at your ears till you understand them, because it's like a constant, like not quite nagging, but it's just like constantly there, and it's all you think about until you realize the like meaning behind them, like the meaning behind the lessons.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how it kind of has like a negative connotation. It just like my words itch at your ears, like it's like an annoying, and it's just like trying to get through, like, but it's just
Yeah, like he's trying to beat something into his apprentice's mind, but it's it like they keep itching at his ears. Yeah, so he's like repeating the same thing over and over, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the first two lines previous to that, I teach straying from me, yet who can stray from me? It's kind of like the boy's on his own path, but he's still there to kind of help guide him in those words.
Mm-hmm.
You could say he's there, but the kid doesn't really know he's there.
Yeah.
Kind of like how God is always with us, but we don't notice that a lot of the time, I guess. That's from a religious perspective of it. Yeah. Okay.
What does that one mean? The second one right after that. I follow you, whoever you are, from the present hour.
I think it kind of is just like his master is always following him, just because he cares, and at the present hour, like, just kind of indicates, or whoever. Dang it, no, wherever. Okay.
I thought
I don't
it
know.
kind of had to do with like you may start at a different place than he started, but he's still gonna follow you and help change your life, basically.
Cool.
I like the next stanza, I guess, the first line where it says, I do not say these things for $1 or to fill up the time while I wait for a boat. So it's like saying that he's telling him these things like purposefully and like for a reason rather than just like penny for your thoughts or just to pass the time, like small talk. Like it's really meaningful and it's supposed to like follow him through life.
Like he's like choosing to help. He's not like, yeah.
Yeah, and like what he says actually matters. It's not just to. He's not talking just for his health. Yeah. Then it says like in parentheses. It says it is you talking just as much as myself. I act as the tongue of you, tied in your mouth. In mine, it begins to be loosened. So, like, I kind of got that the master is speaking his thoughts, speaking the thoughts of the apprentice for him. So it's, I don't know, that kind of destroys the apprentice's identity sometimes. Like, it is kind of what I got from that. That the apprentice now is like, can't think for himself. He has to think just like the master, which is kind of counterintuitive to what he was saying earlier, that the apprentice should be like his own person.
I sort of saw it differently, just like from the religious perspective again. He wants to speak, have his words be honoring to God, and just like his words sort of represent the same ideas as God would have, and he wants to pass that on to the apprentice.
I think it's just saying that it's like his teachings on the boy is like so in depth and so like involved that he like the boy is like living how the narrator Walt Whitman wants him to live, and it's like, so maybe it's not like he's just speaking for him and not letting him think. It's just that like he's gotten through to him that like that's how he thinks now.
It's kind of like those wise words that your mom always tells you,
Yeah.
like the golden rules and all of that.
Like how it just sticks with you.
Yeah, and like at the very end, like it says, mentions all these things that people he's taught like will forget, but then he says in the last line, they and all would resume what I have told them. So that kind of like means remember what I had told them. But okay, I need to be louder. Okay, he says like they and all would resume what I have told them. So it's like they would remember that. But why does he use the word resume then? Like for them to remember things like that your mother or master had told you in the past that stick with you. Why does he use the word resume? That was a question I had.
I thought of it sort of like he wants them to continue down the path, the metaphorical path that he was on, but in a different way. Just sort of like carry on where he left off.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that the stanza that says, I swear I will never again mention love or death inside a house, and I swear I will never translate myself at all, only to him or her who privately stays with me in the open air. Like, the never again mention love or death inside a house part was a little bit, like, abstract to me, and, like, I don't know if it literally means, like, he won't cause any more deaths in his life, or negativity, I guess. Or, like, what is that?
Those lines actually kind of confused me when I was reading this. Did anybody understand that?
No. Well, at least I didn't. Did you get it?
I did not.
Okay. I don't know, like random speculation, like if he would never mention like weighty topics, because love and death are kind of like very heavy things to talk about, so he wouldn't want to mention those things because they scare people sometimes.
Well, and
I
then
guess,
the, like,
I don't know.
privately stays with me in the open air. Like, privately and then open air are really contradictory to each other.
Yeah. But like, how do we fit that into like the whole idea of teacher and student.
Maybe this is just one of his main teachings. Maybe this is just like what he's experienced, and then he doesn't want the boy to do that either. Mentioned.
I don't know.
I'm just spitballing here.
What?
I think it has to do with nature. Because he says he won't mention inside the house. So just because he won't mention it inside the house doesn't mean he won't mention it like outside, like people who stay with him privately in the open air. He'll talk about it to those people.
So he's like, you should mention it, be about outside. So like, then is that kind of what he's teaching his students? Like that nature's good?
I think that has to do with it, definitely, since it's a major part of a lot of his poems.
Yeah, it definitely is. Cool. Nice. Okay, so that's all the time we have for now. So like and subscribe, and